Okay, so I'm finally streaming again. And I'm gonna stream some of Lucid9. Let me see. Wow, December 16th. I have not played this for a while. So let's see. They're pretty much the same. Yahiko nudges my foot and gestures frantically. Oh, and just this game, not too much has happened so far. It's just all been kind of, you know, story building stuff mostly. Nothing like too crazy or anything. Oh, I should close that. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So Yahiko nudges my foot and gestures frantically. Dude. His voice spits out in a hurried whisper. I lean over to hear what he has to say. What? Of all days to be late, you had to choose today. What, was there a pop quiz? There was a pop quiz? I'll take that as a no. Dude, I'm talking about the cutie over there. You missed her intro earlier. He gestures vaguely to the back of the classroom. I sneak a peek when I'm sure that the teacher isn't looking. I find a girl sitting by the window, head delicately turned against slender fingers as she examines something in the distance. In ordinary circumstances, I might have thought her to be gorgeous. After all, she matches the ideal of traditional beauty to a T. Silky hair, porcelain skin, delicate lips, the whole 9 yards. But instead, I only find myself thinking, what the hell? Promptly followed by who, what, when, where, why, how. Very intelligible, I know, but how else am I supposed to react when an old friend whom I haven't seen in ages just randomly walks back into my life? Oh. Not only that, but as a transfer student to my school on the very last year, I happened to be there. What a coinky-dink. Oh, hello. Her eyes snap to mine, but before I can see her reaction, I quickly whip back to the front of the classroom. Maybe I'm seeing things, maybe it's not really her. There's no way it can be her, right? I reluctantly tune my hearing back to the teacher, who seems to be in a very enthusiastic rant about technology. Surprise, surprise. This generation... Oh, thank you. I haven't streamed for a while. I haven't had the opportunity to. This generation is wasting away from being glued to dead pixels every waking moment. I'll host your channel on my Twitch stream as well, once I'm done streaming. Well, today I'm not having any of these newfangled contraptions. We're returning to trusty pen and paper. As the class erupts into groans, he scribbles 3 words on the board with his stylus. Your dream job. Not too bad, just been busy working and stuff a lot. How about you? How have you been? They just won't give us a break, will they? Furthermore, the teachers deactivated our tablets and is currently handing out sheets of line paper. I never had tablets in school. That would have been nice. Handwriting, really? As Yahiko passes a stack of paper to me, he leans close. So what do you think? I think I'm tired of writing about my non-existent future. Huh? I was talking about the new girl. Oh right, the new girl. Was her name Mizaki? I'm not even gonna say that right. Kazahaya? By any chance? How did you know? ... So it really is her. I never thought I would see her again, much less in my own classroom. Oh, I know, you must have some sort of psychic ability. Yeah, because that's the most logical explanation. What? I mean, how else could you have known her name? Can you read her mind too? What does she think of me? How he came to that conclusion is beyond me. Nevertheless, this seems like an excellent opportunity to screw with him. It'd be a shame not to. I press my fingers to my temples, pretending to tune into Mizaki's thoughts. Oh. Oh, I see. What? She has a huge crush on you. Really? But. Yahiko shakes his leg impatiently as I pause. Can you stop thinking for a second? I keep getting interference. Huh? Oh, sorry. He scrunches his face in concentration. Now you're thinking of not thinking. Whoa, you really can read minds. You doubt my abilities? No, I just... Shh. I'm getting something. Yahiko clamps his mouth shut. I rub my temples, mumbling under my breath. It seems she has a crush on you, but she doesn't think you have the courage to talk to her. Yahiko puffs out his chest as if he were presented with a challenge. Ha! As if anything can deter the great Yahiko Ikari from approaching such a beauty. Yahiko, this is a writing prompt, not a discussion prompt. Focus on your own assignment. Music's kind of loud. There we go. Right. Sorry, Teach. He immediately regains his composure and starts scribbling messily on his composition paper. That was oddly quick. I take a quick glance around. My classmates are hunched over their desk, some writing furiously, some staring awkwardly into space. The most avid one is Elizabeth, who's already on a second page, lips moving furtively as her arm blurs down her paper. I'm not surprised she retains this naive belief that she can actually control her future. I can't wait for life to prove her wrong. This guy's such a pessimist. Mizaki, on the other hand, has completely thrown away any pretense of studiousness, choosing to text under the desk with one hand while simultaneously pretending to write with the other. That's pretty impressive, actually. I take a quick pinch on the arm to check my state of consciousness. Not dreaming, apparently. It is Mizaki in the flesh. 5 minutes. Write the assignment. What did the teacher say? Dream job? Write 1 page. I stare at the prompt on the screen as if it will provide an answer. Meh, I don't want to deal with this. I deftly set my pencil to the paper and scribble my response. 1 page. You want to be a murderer. That's what you want to be. As morning classes slug on, I feel a very prominent gaze burning into the back of my head. I refuse to turn, trying to piece together my thoughts. Should I approach her or not? When the bell rings, Yahiko immediately tugs on my sleeve, his face shining. Dude, I'm gonna talk to her. Who? The new girl, of course. She must be the shy princess type waiting for her Prince Charming to sweep her off her feet. Wow. Who better than me to make her dream come true? I think you mean nightmare. Well, good luck with that. You're not coming? Why would I? Surely Yahiko Ikari wouldn't be suggesting that he needs help from me. To learn, of course. I worry for you, my man. You may end up a spinster your whole life. A male spinster. Interesting. You haven't snagged a single date in all the time I've known you. Well, neither have you, but I won't mention that. Or the fact that spinsters are exclusively female. So are you coming? I am, I guess. At the very least, this will be a chance for me to see what kind of person she's become. Yahiko swaggers over to the side of Mizaki's desk. expertly raising a single eyebrow as he flips his hair out of his face. Why, hello there. I brace myself for a slap or a headlock in response, but Mizaki only tilts her head quietly to the side, regarding him with a single arched brow. Can I help you? This appears to fluster Yahiko for a moment. Thankfully, he's not the school's best Casanova for nothing, which honestly really tells you something about the quality of our Casanovas. Actually, yes, do you have a map? Because before he can even finish his sentence, Misaki's fingers whip around her phone with ease of long practice. In 3 seconds flat, she's pulled up a campus map onto her screen and shoved it in front of his face. Here, where in particular are you looking for? Aw, she's being helpful. wait. Oh, are you also a transfer student? Look at those starry eyes. What? That certainly would make much more sense. I was just thinking it's a little strange that a student would be asking me for directions since I just transferred here. But I should have realized you must feel the instant connection of a fellow transfer student. When did you come here? Wait, this is a big misunderstanding. He's gonna say a cool pickup line, I guess. I'm trying to hit on you. Oh, I see. 7 out of 10. Huh? I rated your approach. You didn't even introduce yourself. That's pretty generous, 7 out of 10. You're right, how careless of me. I am the one and only Yahiko Ikari. Surely you've heard of me. I highly doubt that. You wouldn't by any chance happen to be the Yahiko Ikari from... Oh, Governmercher. That was that really funny, stupid TV show they made. The president's aide, that Yahiko Ikari? Yahiko's chest practically doubles in size. Wait, what? Indeed I am. Are you, by chance, a fan? The biggest. I really enjoy the political satire and the music is just amazing. Have you been watching the same show? It was a pretty decent show. It was funny. Did you know that our patter tag is one of the top trending? And Isuma Times has us listed as a viral phenomenon. Viral for what reasons? Well, that must be a different story. Congrats! I'm sure that it would become a big hit. I couldn't read because her hair was there. But of course, even the stars themselves are no match for an Ikari or the moon. Oh yeah, guess what my next dream is? Is it to build a vacation home on the moon? Yes. A vacation home? Wow, she's just loving it. I wonder what would happen if you jumped on a trampoline while on the moon. How high could you go? I don't know, but I'm definitely going to test it. Yahiko and Misaki are new besties apparently, which is nothing short of absolutely terrifying. Meanwhile, I'm being completely ignored. Maybe she doesn't recognize me. Hey Miki. She tilts her head in my direction, eyes bright. Hi, do I know you? Wait, what? She doesn't remember? Come to think of it, she hadn't spared me a single word or even a glance. Your feelings hurt, buddy? She doesn't. How could she not? It's Yama Ishimoto. He's my minion. I'm sorry, I don't think we've met. Oh, you've got to be kidding. Childhood friend, 4 years back, you, me, Rui, we all hung out together. What? Total blankness. She's honestly forgot. Words start pouring out of my mouth as I frantically search for something to get a reaction of her. We all lived in Saito, small town, 3 hours drive away. Yes, no? I'm sorry, I don't think. We all played together, we were inseparable, we met at that festival, the one with the lanterns. Mizaki's expression gradually turns from polite to more and more skeptical. Of all ways I imagined we'd reunite, this was definitely not the top of my list, or of the list. Do you really not remember? I'm really very sorry. This can't be. Rue and I bawled our eyes out after she left. We hovered by the phone for hours waiting for a single call. When nothing came, we even resorted to hovering by the mailbox in the vain hopes that we'd receive some snail mail. Is she saying during that time? That 1 month, which turned into 6, which turned into 1 year, which turned into 4 years? She'd just forgotten us. Maybe she lost her memories, who knows? How could that be possible? Unless... By any chance you haven't gotten into a tragic car accident and ended up with amnesia, have you? That's why you haven't called, not in 4 years? She backs away slowly, eyeing me like I'm an insane psychopath. Okay, this is bad. This is really bad. I wore a kimono. You really don't remember? She stops at that, a flash of recognition catching her eye. Got her. I wore a goodbye kitty kimono and ran around calling you a tooth fairy. ... You did? On second thought, I really should have talked to her with no one else in the classroom. I was a kid. But you wore a kimono and called her the tooth fairy? Well, yeah, but... Wahaha. About time you admitted it, Yama. Oh, is she just faking? I'm struck speechless as the situation begins to dawn on me. You know who I am? Know you? How could I not? It's only been 4 years. Then you were faking it, of course. That's fine. Why were you pretending not to notice me earlier? I knew you recognized me. Oh, she's giving you payback. Well, it's not every day you see an old friend who just decided to disappear one day. She stopped at that, a flicker of irritation crossing her eyes at my cutting tone. It's not like I wanted to leave Sato, Yama. So why did you? My mother didn't leave me with much of a choice. Well, you guys were kids, you know. You mean Satomi? She nods. You could have at least told us you were moving. I couldn't. I wait for an elaboration, but it never comes. That's it? You just couldn't tell us? Why not? Do you mind if we can talk about it later, Yama? I'm not very comfortable discussing it in class. I open my mouth to object, but something about Mizaki's expression prevents me from pursuing the issue further. She genuinely seems distraught. She doesn't look very distraught. Wait. Yama wore a goodbye kitty kimono and called Mizaki the tooth fairy? He's so focused on that. Luckily, Yahiko manages to change the subject. I decide to play along for the time being. I was a little kid, dang it. I hear excuses, all excuses. It's not an excuse, there's a legitimate explanation. I somehow fell and got my yukata dirty, and it was at the festival, and we weren't very close to home, and Miki had an extra kimono. A goodbye kitty kimono? Yes. Bahaha. Somehow having Yahiko mock me just makes the entire thing 10 times worse. I cast a half-pleading, half-indignant glare at Mizaki, who only shrugs in response. It isn't my fault you enjoy cross-dressing. I don't. If only I had patter at the time, I would have taken a photo. Wait, so what's this patter you keep mentioning? Judging by the reaction I'm getting, I've just committed a huge faux pas. You don't know what patter is? Where have you been living your whole life? Under a rock? Well, technically, that's what my name would imply. What, is it like the Secret Service database or something? Far more important, it's the most popular social network website in today's society. I really question your priorities. Through Patter, you share posts with 90 characters or less. It allows you to spread important news, demonstrate your support, provide instant feedback to questions, or just blog about your day. Is that like Twitter? Gover Mercher got big because of Patter. As for me, I like to give updates on the progress of my day. I accidentally called Twitch Twitter before. It was pretty special. Okay, fine, but does anybody actually care? A sudden deathly chill pervades the room. My second major faux pas of the day, apparently. People care. Are you sure? Because the way I see it, tapping 2 buttons doesn't exactly make you... They care, damn it. Don't say nothing different till you pat yourself. Don't say nothing. Intense, Mizaki? Wait, what? But the conversation grinds to a halt when Mizaki's phone trills in her hand. She immediately regains her composure. Kezhaya speaking. Yes, understood. I'll be there in 5 minutes. She cuts the call and shoves her phone into her pocket, looking me square in the eye. I must go. Duty calls. Duty? What kind of duty? My employer has a job for me. Job now? What about school? Oh, I'm sure they'll excuse this one. Let's talk again later, Yama. Oh, and make sure to bring Rui, okay? Goodbye. And like a tornado stalking its next target, she blazes out of the room. I left completely dumbfounded with Yahiko, who's dancing around the room like he's just won his mansion on the moon. I have a fan. I have an actual fan. A real fan. I wonder how long it will be before I can pledge her to my service as my first true minion. Wow. I wordlessly leave him in his fantasy of world domination and head to the cafeteria. It's more out of routine than actually feeling hungry. The shock of running into an old friend after 4 years might have something to do with that. Maybe I should be angry at Mizaki, but at the same time, who knows what had happened with her and her mother. She seemed pretty uncomfortable talking about it. At least she's here now. I guess that's all that matters. If Mizaki wants to tell me, she will on her own time. Another mystery. The cafeteria is broad and beautiful, boasting polished surfaces and tidy, well-lit spaces. Modern furniture settles well on the brushed mahogany floor. Fancy. Students in pristine uniforms travel to and fro, scooping food from the extensive buffet counters around the perimeter of the cafeteria and returning to their friends. I wish my high school was like that. I spot Rui in the back corner of the cafeteria, staring up at the skylights with a thoughtful tilt to her head. Yeah, she likes us, and the main character just shut her down, pretty much. Actually, this would be a perfect time to tell her about Mizaki. Rui would be thrilled to see her again. Hey, Rui. She jumps slightly at the sudden sound, and only then do I remember that I'm supposed to be apologizing for being dramatic yesterday. Except, I've never been great at apologizing, or even good, or actually even mildly passable. Say, how are you? I'm doing okay. How was class? It was okay, I guess. Oh, okay. We shuffle for a moment and I finally clear my throat. About yesterday. It's okay, Yama. I know that seeing the bus must have brought up some memories. Oh yeah, there's I think an accident or something. You were just lashing out. But I shouldn't have. No, I guess not. So next time something like that happens, I reserve the right to slap you silly. And just like that, everything is right between us. And you didn't even apologize. What have I done to deserve a friend like this? Thanks. But buy me lunch. What? Aw, come on, it's only fair. If I go into debt, I blame you for constantly mooching off of me. Are you ever going to pay for your own food? Probably not. At least she's honest. But you can't count those grocery trips because I ended up cooking everything for you. And yourself. Labor taxes. Let's go already. I'm hungry. But just as she reaches forward and pulls my arm to her side, we hear a very familiar voice from behind us. Well, 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 what have we here? Oh. We jerk around in synchronization and promptly come face to face with Mr. Ryuta. That's the dude that's giving us counseling, I think, that likes playing games. Rui quickly squeaks and jumps away, suddenly bashful. Oh, hi, Mr. Ryuta. It's a pretty cool teacher, if that's the right guy I'm thinking of. It's been a while since I played. Look at you two, the adorable childhood friends finally getting together after years of unneeded drama. Bah, I feel sick. What is this, some crappy anime? What? We're not together? I want to go out with Yama in a million years. It's actually really adorable. I struggle to maintain a straight face. I know. I'm just too good for you. She snaps back into the Rui that the rest of the academy knows her as, witty, confident, and a touch malicious. She opens her mouth, no doubt, to smite me with some comeback or another, but Mr. Ryuta breaks us up. Well, if I don't end up barfing my guts out, you guys will have the most adorable wedding in all of history. There goes Rui. How can you say something like that, Mr. Ryuta? You're a teacher, you should know better. Oh, come on, you two will look back on this day, mark my words. With a cheerful wave, he splits to the faculty express line. Those words sound fairly ominous. I can already imagine all the embarrassing stories he'd liberally share with the other wedding guests. Oh, you're thinking about a wedding now. We probably had so many people rolling in the aisles from laughter that Rui wouldn't even be able to walk properly. What the heck I'm even thinking about? Wedding? Rui? Ugh, Mr. Ryuta is being his usual self, I see. I wish I had a teacher like that at school. Well, I had some pretty cool teachers anyway. Yep. Now he's got me thinking about, nope, not going there. Maybe now would be a good time to switch topic. Alright, I even have the perfect material. Hey Rui, you're not gonna believe this, but I saw Miki today. Rui's face cuts to complete blankness in the space of a millisecond. It is really shocking news. Maybe I should have eased it a bit. She ended up transferring to this school, and we coincidentally wound up in the same class. What a quinky dink. Dead silence. I finally start to feel a prickle of apprehension. We can hang out together again. We can... Did you talk to her? What? Of course, it's Miki. She jealous. Rui, what's wrong? Aren't you happy? Well, no, I'm not. As far as I'm concerned, she has nothing to do with either of us anymore. Don't you remember? We were kids who held a stupid grudge for something beyond her control. Come on, we're older than that now. Oh, are we? She didn't really apologize, did she? Well... Pause for a moment. Rui's expression immediately darkens. I see that she didn't, and I know why. Because she wasn't there to see you fall apart. I don't think you remember, Yama, but you were in a really bad place after she left. Even to the point where, I mean, you know. But that wasn't because of Mizaki. I mean, yeah, but she triggered the whole thing. It's just when I think about it, I get mad at her, really mad. So it's probably best for both her and me if she stays away. So you're not going to be friends again? The thought is so baffling that I can't help a stutter. In my mind, we've always been a package deal, me, Rui, Mizaki. It was either all or nothing. I mean, you're your own person, so you should hang out with whomever you want. But I can't be buddy-buddy with Mizaki until she realizes what she's done. I never thought Rui, of all people, would be irrational. How bad had I been exactly? I never seen Rui so upset, at least not in a really long time. Sorry to be a downer. Why don't we just grab some lunch? How about you go on ahead? I need to talk to Mr. Ryuta. Okay. Surprisingly, she doesn't ask me any more questions. She heads to the lunch line without a word. Maybe she also feels rotten inside, like something has been lost forever. I shake these thoughts and immediately locate Mr. Ryuta, who just popped out of the faculty line and conveniently enough is heading in my direction. He watches our separation with an eyebrow raised to his hairline. That must be a high eyebrow. Oh, are the newlyweds already running into trouble? I ignore this. Good timing, Mr. Ryuta. I wanted to ask you something. If the question is whether to officially ask Rui out, the answer is yes. What? No, that's not the question. He's trying to build a ship. Aw, really? That's a bit boring. Ray and I aren't, you know what? Never mind. I was wondering what it means when you see someone you haven't seen in forever who you thought disappeared off the planet. Huh. It means exactly what you just said. Your life actually is a crappy anime. It's breaking the fourth wall. I never said that. Oh, you didn't? Mr. Oyuta. Sorry, can't help it. Now who's this person you haven't seen in forever? She just transferred into my class this morning. Rui, her, me, we were really close when we were little. Back in our hometown Sato. Transfer student, childhood friend. Don't even think about it. Too late. My life is not a crappy anime. It's not. No, it's a horror one. You're right. It's a really crappy anime. So what's the problem? Well, I talked with her, and I think we'll be friends again, but Rui is jealous? What? No. What is this, junior high? Sorry, I'll shut up. See, when Mizaki, that's a transfer student, left, she accidentally triggered a giant depressive state that basically left me in the dumps for a year. Oh. I don't remember much about it, to be honest. Rui claims it was bad. Huh. You don't remember a year of your life. Yama, when can you come to my office today? I want to listen properly to you, and the cafeteria is not exactly an ideal environment. Well, I guess that Mr. Ryuta got hired into his job for an actual reason. Okay, guess I'll drop by after school. Or during, really, either way works. Now off to lunch. You gotta eat before the bell rings. Young growing boys need all the nutrition they can get. He can't sound like the wise all-knowing teacher when he just implied it was fine for me to ditch school. See you later, Mr. Ryuta. It's a pretty cool teacher. Once in high school, I got a little certificate for the most admit slips. It's pretty funny. But they weren't like pink slips. It was like my absences that, had a note from my parents. So I guess that's why I got an award for it. It was kind of funny. He only responds with a casual wave before he saunters over to the nearest table, chatting easily with a group of students. I snag a plate of food and search for Rui, but she's nowhere in sight. Guess that conversation took a little longer than I originally intended. I quickly scarf my food down and return to the classroom. Alright class, let's take secondary roll before we start. Oh, I can't even read. Before we head to the courtyard. What? We have more PE? The teacher's halfway through rolling her eyes before she catches herself. I guess it's not a good example to roll your eyes in front of your students. No, Yahiko, today's career day, as has been announced over the PA for the past 3 days. Afternoon classes are cancelled so that third years may explore possible future occupations with specialists. Oh, right. Questions of the future, writing prompt about our dream job, now career day. I think I'm sensing a pattern here. We're already running a little late, so let's make this quick. Anyone missing? Nope. That prompts us to glance around. I think he's right, ma'am. Everyone's here. Everyone except Misaki, who apparently is at her job. Time to do some not-so-subtle recon. Teacher, where's that girl? The one sitting by the window. The teacher waves her hand dismissively. Special circumstances. Anyone else? Despite myself, I feel a prick of curiosity. Special circumstances? What kind of circumstances could warrant such an offhand dismissal from the teacher? I thought most teachers loathe making exceptions for mandatory events. Just what could Mizaki's job be? As the teacher continues to survey the classroom, I feel a nudge against my arm. I'm surprised you brought it up. What? Usually you wouldn't say anything even if you noticed. You wouldn't... Oh, you would have thought it too much trouble. Her words are remarkably neutral. It's awkward. It feels like a trap. I think you should stop pretending like you actually know me or that you have a brain. Wow, you're insufferable. She stormed to the back of the room in a huff. I'm insufferable? She's done far, far worse, and she's still judging me. What a hypocrite. Alright, looks like everyone else is here. To the courtyard, destiny awaits. There are more than a few rolled eyes, but everyone obediently flies out of the classroom. Our class pours into the courtyard, which currently resembles a crowded street market. Columns of booths are set in orderly lines, each attempting to outshine the other with progressively more outrageous signage and progressively louder music. Maybe I should save the game just in case. What's this? Save? I'll save over that. Yeah, sure. Return. I wonder if they've got a booth for my future job. Come to think of it, in all the 203 times he's talked about his dream, he's never once mentioned his future job, just all the things he'll own. Oh, and what might that be? Isn't it obvious with my stunning looks and all? So, a trash can? Is that even a job? Of course it's a job. Oh, well no, I want to be a model. That's ridiculous. Wait, it's not as silly as it seems. I mean, seeing how he just believed that being a trash can was a profession, he can't have a job that requires him to think. That's harsh to models. He also can't have a job that requires social interaction. He'd just repel people instead of attracting them. Those are his two biggest flaws, and modeling doesn't need either. As for his looks, I hate to admit it, but he's not so bad looking. He'd probably be able to land himself a girlfriend if he could just keep quiet. It almost sounds like a serious plan. Yahiko, my friend, I'm glad you finally realized the cruel truth. Eh? What are you talking about? I'm just saying that it's a good idea, especially coming from you. Isn't it? Once I become famous, the entire world will be able to witness my magnificence. I'll be on TV, the internet, advertising blimps, basically everywhere. On second thought, maybe it's a terrible idea. Well, if you don't mind me, I'm off to meet my destiny. And with that, he skips off into the crowd, leaving me awkwardly leaning against the wall like some kind of delinquent. I'm not really sure what to do. I'll be wasting my time if I look around, but I'll be wasting my time if I stay here. What a conundrum. You there. I turn to the source of the voice, a man in a medical coat standing in front of a booth boasting the holographic sign, Way Forward Pharmaceuticals, Hospital Division. Or hunch, I'm guessing he's a doctor. Are you interested in becoming a doctor? Bodies, open wounds? Yeah, no. Sorry, I don't think I could deal with the pressure of being a doctor. If that's what you're worried about, then don't worry. I'm a heart surgeon, and I get an entire team of people helping me during the operations. Well, if I have people helping me. Wow. Scalpel, please. Nah. What do you mean, nah? Thought I was supposed to do all the cutting this time. That doesn't matter. Sure does. I see what's going on here, man. You want to take all the credit. Well, guess what? That ain't happening. What are you talking about? I'm the doctor here. Doctor, the patient is in critical condition. If you don't act fast, he's going to die. The patient is dying. Dang it, give me the scalpel. Whoa there, don't be getting your scrubs in a bunch. Doctor, the patient is dead. See? Look what you did. Look at what I... Yeah, I don't think being a doctor is right for me. Are you sure? We've got a great internship program. I'm good, thanks though. Another nearby booth catches my eye. A multicolored sign claims that it's from the National Education Institute. Behind the booth table, a tall woman in glasses is speaking animatedly to a small group of students. Don't you feel that we have a duty to equip the next generation? In this society, knowledge is power, and we have to ensure that our successors have the power to move forward. My job is the best and the most beneficial, and there are no downsides whatsoever. Yeah, been there, heard that. Don't your students annoy you or tire you out? Well, I've had some ups and downs in my career, of course. The more difficult students may be perplexing at first, but when you persevere, you always end up getting those students back on the right path. I was a pretty good student in school, but my class, we made, I guess I shouldn't say we, it wasn't me who contributed to it, but I think like 2 teachers quit because of us. Well, one retired early and one had a mental breakdown and quit. It's pretty bad. Public school as well. Is that so? Teach. What's 5 plus 7? This is high school, Mr. Ikari, not primary school. You should have mastered addition by now. But teach. Excuse me, Mr. Kurogane, smoking is not permitted on campus. Hand those over. Tch, you ain't the boss of me, kid. Kid, I'm your teacher. You're shorter than me, kid. And that makes you a kid. Alright, that's it. You're staying after class. You've got detention to serve. Says who? Says you? You couldn't even take on a diseased chicken with one claw tied to its tail. What? Why can't you be like that eloquent on your essay? Oh, why can't you be that eloquent on your essays? Teacher, what's wrong? What are you crying again? What for? Oh, you're angry at me. I'm sorry. I'm so terrible. I can't. Hey, don't cry. Yeah, I don't think I have enough patience to deal with students. I meander down the row of booths, apathetically peering at any that seem mildly entertaining. One man with a remarkable bushy mustache raises his fist in the air, yelling at the top of his lungs. Do you love Japan? Join the Japanese Self-Defense Force today. Wow, I thought those kinds of die-hard patriots only existed on TV. Any man who's able to follow orders can be seen as a hero of Japan. If you're still alive. Grenade! Cover it, soldiers! What? But we could just run away. Jump on that grenade or I'll have you court-martialed for insubordination. But I'll die. All the better. Hop to it. Wow. Yeah, not happening. I turn away from the booth. Everything I see is equally unpromising. Do you have a knack for cooking? Why not apply to Lincoln Culinary School? Gather here, engineers, mathematicians, fellow countrymen. The biggest digital corporation in the world, Lemniscate, has positions open for you. Have you always wanted to help the hurting? Join us at the Columbus Therapy Center and transform the world, one life at a time. Quick glance in the other direction reveals that I seem to be the only one having trouble. I find Elizabeth in deep conversation with a police officer just a few feet away. Wouldn't have thought her to be the type. Maybe she's sucking up to them so they'll let her off for corporate fraud. Meh, I can't really judge her. At least she's found something that she's interested in. Me, on the other hand, well, I have nothing. What's up? Can't find your life's calling? What? I turned to the source of the voice, a scraggly man slumped against a rickety folding chair, a worn beanie plopped on his head, and a threadbare trench coat thrown over his shoulders. There's no sign on his booth. Is hobo a legitimate career? That's harsh. Ha, youngsters these days, you hold your future in your own hands and you don't even know what to do with it. You're lucky, you know. There was a time when people didn't have the luxury of choosing their career. Upon second glance, I noticed that there are several rolling racks of books settled in the back of the booth. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to their genre, science fiction, mystery, fantasy, young adult. But they're all under the same name. Are you a writer? He smiles and I ask him this. Hey, what? Surprised? Who do you think I was? An adventurer? Globetrotter? A homeless guy, actually. He throws back his head and laughs. You've got life. I can't wait to read your stories. Huh. Somehow I don't think that being a writer would fit me. Oh, somebody help me. Whatever shall I do? Fear not, generic damsel in distress. I'm the hero. I lost the previous battle, so this is a heroic rematch where I'm guaranteed to win. How fortunate. After you win this final battle, I shall bestow you with an obligatory smooch of victory. Hey, you can't just ignore the villain. I got your girl, Yama. Oh, spare us with your evil gloating. It'll only lead to your downfall. But I gotta give a motive rant so that we understand your identity as a tragic villain. Nah, I'll just put that as a footnote. Okay, I'm tired of this needless banter. I've actually written the princess's backstory so that she's a badass in distress. What? But you didn't even foreshadow that. Too bad. I need to move the plot forward. Yeah. No. Nice. Yeah, I don't think I can come up with original material. That's why you just rip off real life, you know? Thanks, but no thanks. He shrugs apathetically as I walk away. Is that like foreshadowing to like what's gonna happen in this? Crazy shot's gonna go down in real life. Oh, a nearby small group of students catches my eye. They've gathered in front of a man in a long sweeping lab coat. Although his voice is placid, there lies an undercut of power in every word he says. Life is a fragile thing. There is an unspeakable number of ways for the human body to fail, and even more for it to be broken. Death was accepted as an inevitable part of life, a natural stage in the cycle of this world. But it doesn't have to be that way. The man in the lab coat straightens as the students break into hurried whispers. Through research, we can create medicine that fights diseases and treats disorders, extending our lives exponentially and maybe indefinitely. Ah, so he's a medical researcher. He fixes his gaze on each individual in the crowd, not in a hostile manner, but certainly in an unnerving one. A day may come when we can defy death. His eyes land on me. The intelligent arc of his brow and the commanding line of his jaw shift slightly as he examines me. I feel frozen beneath his piercing gaze. It isn't exactly uncomfortable, just strange. Eventually he turns away, adjusting the golden glasses that are settled on the bridge of his nose. If you seek to make a lasting influence on the world, join us at Way Forward Pharmaceuticals in the research division. Together we can accomplish the impossible and prevent the inevitable. The crowd of students breaks into applause, their faces agape in wonder. I only scoff. No one can defy death. Anyone who thinks otherwise is just delusional. As I turn away from the Way Forward booth, the PA hums to life. Attention students, Mayor Inori will be speaking at the center stage in 5 minutes. The students around me gasp audibly, breaking into frantic whispers. Mayor Inori here, in person? Our school's important, you know. Why wouldn't he come? Come on, let's get a good spot. I follow the massive throng of students gathering around the courtyard's center stage. Sure enough, Mazuru Inori, I don't know, the ever-popular mayor of Insamu is in the flesh. He gives the students a cordial wave from behind an impenetrable line of security guards. You know, back in my day, when dinosaurs roamed the earth, this extracts a laughter from the crowd. We always ditched career day. We'd pop over to GFC, and you should have seen it, before it was renovated, and stuff ourselves on wings. They were only double S's at the time. Shows you how far we've come as a society, eh? The crowd chuckles again. Among them, I catch the distinct hint of Elizabeth's giggle. As usual, she's eagerly jotting notes on her phone, hanging on to the mayor's every word. The brunette girl who's always around Elizabeth is also next to her. Surprisingly, she seems equally engrossed in the speech. And yes, I hated career day, though it was a waste of time. Thought it was a waste of time. Thought that they were restraining me at a time when all I wanted to do was explore myself, who I was, who I wanted to be. But later, I realized that I was thinking about career day in the completely wrong way. It wasn't about deciding my future, it was about exploring possibilities. He allows a moment of thoughtful silence before he continues. The truth is, you'll probably change careers multiple times in your life. In fact, the average number of job changes is estimated to be 15 times. Wow, that's a lot, if that's actually true. You could be in med school all your life, but have experience in construction, woodworking, design, architecture, statistics, engineering, maybe even ostrich babysitting or bicycle fishing. Elizabeth smiles into her hand as the students laugh like a perfect timed track. But as vast as the future is, you know what you don't want to do. You don't want to be hurt. You don't want to go each day full of insecurities, doubts, fears. You don't want to be lied to or backstabbed or treated like a fake. I won't lie to you, it's a nasty world out there. Yep. But I think that we can all agree that regardless of who we are or where we're from, we each have an important part to play in the safety of this country. So go on, explore. You guys are bright. And hey, you guys are in a better spot than I was. I thought I'd like nothing more than to become an anthropologist. Not that even I knew what that meant at the time. It just sounded cool. His parting sentence elicits another laugh as he steps off the stage, offering a final wave. The students erupt into cheers in response. I quickly shuffle away from the crowd before the noise overwhelms me. I don't want to like this guy. Heck, I don't want to like any politician, but he seems to be less evil than the others I've seen. Furthermore, he made a good speech. He came across intelligent but genuine, two major opposites of politics. Yep. Maybe I'll vote in this re-election. Oh, in his re-election, maybe. How old are these kids? I thought it was just high school. Hello, stranger. Oh. Hey, Miki. I abruptly stop in my tracks, finally taking in what she's wearing. Well, you've dressed up. Which is putting it lightly. She's draped in a silken kimono that ripples around her figure like water. Her hair inset with a minimalistic ribbon and crystal pin. She could own the red carpet or a throne even with that outfit. Pretty, my mind supplies unhelpfully. I quickly grind that part of my mind to dust. That's all you have to say? Well, what were you expecting? Poetry? Oh dearest, you liken yourself to starlight with eyes like the moon and a mouth like the purest golden flame that sun e'er did see. She promptly slaps me on the back. Very funny, Shakespeare. Although I am impressed, your recitation was pretty decent. I feel like she's insulting me, but she genuinely seems shocked. So what brings you here? Do you want to become a model? What? Oh, no need to be embarrassed. Male models are hardly anything new. However, they do tend to be physically fit. Do you happen to have a six-pack? I'll pretend I heard none of that. What makes you think I would ever want to be a model? You're standing by my company's booth. We are a modeling company. Surprised, I cast a quick glance behind her. Sure enough, a large banner reads Lotus Modeling, above a tent with striking photo spreads. Hence the kimono, I assume. You assume correctly. So where's Rui? I haven't seen her all day. That awkward moment when... really? That's funny. She attends this school, right? What? Of course she does. So you've seen her today? Well, yeah. You didn't tell her about me? Hello, social drama. I missed you not. How can I word this delicately, or better yet, avoid it completely? You should probably be getting back to your job. I have my eye on you, Yama. Do you really think I can't tell when you're lying? I believe in my ability to run away. Always the same, I see. I've made a mental note to harass you about it later. Until then, Yama. She floats back to her booth, greeting any curious glances with an effortless smile. A model. Her job is modeling. Somehow I find that a little underwhelming. I almost expected her to be involved in something drastic, like the Secret Service, or the film industry, or even the Olympics. The modeling, where you pose and change and smile for hours and hours. Adventurous, stubborn Miki. It doesn't seem to fit her. Whatever, it's none of my business anyway. It's time to see Mr. Ryuta. This time he opens the door as soon as I knock. No playing games? I must have caught him at a good time. Welcome, Ishimoto. We've been expecting you. He cackles maniacally and taps his fingertips together. You should have turned in your chair while stroking a cat. Bah, everyone's a critic. Would you have rather been left standing outside in the cold? Outside? I'd be in the hallway. You seem awfully eager to prove your mentor wrong, boy. Well, whatever. I prove it or not, it's still wrong, right? Yes, but that would never fly in a court of law, you see. Imagine it, I declare the defendant guilty because from a metaphysical standpoint, it is true, even if we have no epistemological link of knowing so. I just lost you. I get that a lot. Go ahead and take a seat. We've got more important things to discuss, no? Hesitantly, I slide into the nearest couch. I always seen Mr. Ryuta as an intelligent man, even if laid back, but I've never actually, not understood him. I wonder how much brain mass he's hiding behind that cheery facade. So the new transfer student, Mizaki. I hope you don't mind, I did a little look up on her. You can do that? Well, there's no explicit rule saying I can't use the confidential databases. I'm pretty sure that there is. Nope, I may be faculty, but I'm not a teacher. It's only stated that teachers have to request special permission. I checked the loopholes. Something feels wrong about this. What did you find out? Well, if I tell you, then that's a solid breach of confidentiality. I don't want to go to jail yet. The food's too good here. Wow. Mr. Ryuta, I really worry about you sometimes. And this is me talking. So instead, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the matter, Yama. How did you two meet? And you mentioned that she left. Yeah. Oh. Close my eyes, letting the ever-constant hum of the air conditioner calm my nerves. Then I start talking. It's practically subconscious. My mouth dutifully repeats the train of thought running through my mind. Everything is calm, clear, slow. Therapy, something that I've gotten used to over the years, so I easily turn my brain to the topic of interest. Mizaki. I met her when I was young. Not too young, a baby still forming thought patterns and ideas about the world, but young enough to be highly impressionable. It had been on a day when I thought nothing could make me smile. Not the vibrant lanterns strewn between the roofs of multicolored booths, not the festive rhythm of taiko drummers urging on the parade of light-bearing dancers, not the stands in which a variety of nutritionally questionable foods were being served. Not even Rui who dragged me out of the house despite my best efforts to stay miserable. It was only around an hour into the festival, but I was ready to go. When Rui went to the bathroom, I seriously considered ditching her and going back to my room. Apparently I was scowling deeply at that. I didn't know it until a passing girl suddenly stopped in front of me. Annoying girl. Does your face always look like that? To say the least, that didn't help my foul mood. I glared up at her. She was pretty. Well, that was the first thought in my head, that indistinctive spark of appreciation whenever a guy sees a pretty girl, no matter how much he wants to feel otherwise. Her hair was braided back into an elegant half updo, light ebony curls framing her porcelain face. Big eyes, long eyelashes, pointed chin, the kind of traditional beauty you might see in a kimono commercial. Of course, the first spark of interest was immediately overridden by indignance that only an 8-year-old boy could feel. What are you looking at? Don't look so grumpy. You should be celebrating. She didn't know anything, of course, not until a few months later. Festivals are stupid. No, they are not. Why, there isn't even any reason to celebrate. The girl's face twisted into something resembling anger. Holy. It looked strange on her, like a guinea pig attempting to seem menacing. Wow. You don't even know what the festival is about, do you? Well, of course I didn't, but I wasn't about to admit that. Of course I do. Oh yeah? What is it about? Well, you make lanterns. Uh-huh, and? I fisted my hands at her condescending tone. You write wishes on them and stuff. Wrong. Am not. Yeah, you are. You don't write wishes. You write what you want to tell dead people. Ridiculous, I should have said. Why should I even want to talk to dead people? But I didn't mock it. I couldn't mock it. Dead people? Yep, I can write a message to Auntie on this lantern and she'd see it. How do you know that? Haven't you heard the story? No, I hadn't. But my 8-year-old pride prevented me from saying that, of course. Thankfully, the girl took my silence as confusion. Annoying girl. Well, once upon a time, there was a princess. Was she pretty? Yeah. Please. It's a game. Good at singing? Yeah. Boring. It is not boring. The indignant anger on her face made me snicker, the first time I've smiled all day. Yeah, well, what happens? Does she get in trouble and a charming prince has to save her? Just listen, look, she's actually a big meanie. A mean princess. That wasn't a fairy tale staple. Oh? Yep, but her bodyguard was in love with her and turned her good again. I felt disappointed. The story had a promising start. Blah. What did he do? Cast a spell? Give a true love's kiss? Uh-oh. There you go. He died. Oh. Don't look so happy. That time I broke into a tiny laugh. But it made her good again, right? Well, yeah, she didn't trust anyone before. Thought they were all fake and stuff. It seemed that she was glaring at me at the point of the story, but before I could open my mouth, she was already continuing. Anyway, the bodyguard sacrificed himself to save her life, so the heavens were super duper impressed and put him in the stars. Aren't stars really, really hot? That sounds like a bad thing. Childish indignation flickered across her face. They made him into a constellation, you poop. Bleh. Bleh. Times infinity. Bleh times infinity plus. Anyway, the princess realized how beautiful love really is. Because he died? She saw how much he loved her, so she decided to be a better person and trust people again. This had nothing to do with writing messages to the dead on lanterns. I was rapidly losing interest. Let me guess, she lived happily ever after. Well, no, the bodyguard died, remember? I like this bodyguard. She glared at me, but somehow it felt less severe than before. She wrote her promise on a lantern and sent it up to the sky so he could see, because he was a constellation, remember? Now I realize that I could have said a lot of things. That's stupid, he's dead. What could he do about it? But that wasn't on my mind at the time. Everyone turns into a bunch of stars when they die? I think. You think or you know? If they did something to super duper impress the heavens, I guess. I smiled at that. My eyes scoured the street and landed on a simple booth. A handful of other kids were gathered around a short portable table, scrawling on lanterns with calligraphy pens clamped in fisted hands. Let's go. Why do we need a lantern? Right to another dead person then. Nice, dead person. With this overwhelming display of tact and political correctness, I raced towards the table, snatched a lantern from a smiling adult, and plopped down with my pen at the ready. Who are you writing to? None of your beeswax. I began to scrawl characters on my lantern. The girl hovered over my shoulder, squinting dubiously at my jagged brushstrokes. Why is your handwriting so messy? It's not messy. I can't even read it. I whipped around, narrowing my eyes accusingly at her own lantern. Well, yours. I searched for a fault, but not only was her lantern graced with perfect calligraphy, it was also proudly bore a few elegant cherry blossoms. Well, yours looks girly. She raised a single eyebrow. It was a remarkably sophisticated expression for a 9-year-old girl to make. Oh, so she's older. I am a girl. And there was nothing much to say to that. Yama, where have you been? It was as if Rui had materialized out of thin air. I hadn't even noticed the rapid pitter-patter of her footsteps. Sorry, Rui. Geez, could have told me. You were in the bathroom. Clearly displeased, Rui turned her back on me but smiled at the other girl. Thanks for taking care of him. Surprisingly, the girl smiled back easily, as you please. Well, weren't they getting along just fine? Why did they have to give me such a hard time? Maybe it was a girl thing. I'm Rui. I'm Mizaki. You're gonna make a lantern? Yep. How'd you make those flowers? They're real pretty. I can show you. Just like that, the two of them were friends. It took a little longer to warm me up, but whatever the two of them set their minds to, they accomplished. Well, we got some backstory. They have always been that way, so fiery, so capable, so lovely. Two playful angels who, for some reason unfathomable to mankind, saw fit to hang around a bucket of depressing sludge like me. Why do you think that about yourself? Mr. Rita's voice seems to come from far in the distance, faint but recognizable. I respond distractedly. You know me, I'm not useful or popular, or particularly intelligent. Science follows this statement, so I only continue. Our families were close. Mizaki's father would always throw these get-togethers at their house over the weekends or during special occasions. I remember him being really overwhelming at first. He was a lot like Mizaki, only bigger and louder. I rarely saw Mizaki's mother. The times I did see her, she was pretty distant. Besides that, I really don't remember much about her. At first, we were inseparable, Mizaki and us, but then her father had lost his job, and we started seeing less of her. And eventually, they just left, no warning whatsoever. Even our parents tried to get in contact, no luck. It had been as if the Kazehayas had disappeared off the face of the planet. That must have been a really hard blow. Rui says that it had been. Honestly, I don't remember much of what followed. It all passed in a haze. Essentially, I felt abandoned. I had this idea that everyone close to me would leave me. I don't think I could even cry. I only felt empty inside. But Rui says that it really was a terrible time. She says I didn't eat, didn't sleep, didn't even play any games with her. She says that I looked like a ghost. Heck, practically became one. And I don't remember it, but she says that one day... Oh, what's that? Yama, what's wrong? Nope, sorry. That's it. Sob story over. Oh, I thought we were going to see something interesting. Are you sure? You do realize that the entire point of therapy is to share your sob stories. It's not a burden, Yama. I'm glad to hear you out. I feel tired. I think I'll have to stop here. It's mainly an excuse and a very effective one for therapists. Mr. Ryuta immediately nods in understanding. Thanks for confiding in me. Just know that what you felt was completely valid. I'm sorry you had that trauma. It's fine. I got over it. That's a weird smile. I'd like to go now if that's okay. If you're sure. Is there anything I can do for you? I'm okay. Sure you don't want a lollipop? Yeah, I'm pretty sure, but thanks. Have a good day, Yama. But at least take this prescription. Oh, what? Prescription? Seriously? Then I actually look at it. Oh, okay. I was gonna be like, teachers can't prescribe you things, can they? 1 bucket of ice cream to be eaten guilt-free. Oh. As far as the administration knows, this is totally a legitimate treatment. Ice cream is one of the core groups in the food pyramid, you know. He actually pulls a genuine laugh out of me. Thanks, Mr. Ryuta, and thanks for listening. Anytime. I exit Mr. Ryuta's office in a considerably better mood than when I entered it. I actually don't feel tired, I feel rejuvenated. Seems like those memories have been weighing on me for a long time. Maybe therapy really will be beneficial. Sometimes talking about things helps people. Just talking about it, having someone listen. Deciding to take his prescription to heart, I head straight to the downtown shopping area. I like the art in this game, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that at all. It's very nice. With my mind cleared, I get to pay a little more attention to the weather. Beautiful cloudless skies, the slightest hint of a cool breeze. You. A girl careens from around the corner and nearly crashes right into me. Her glasses flash dangerously as she tips her newsboy cap over her forehead, studying me with an intensity that could rival an electronic microscope. Me? It's all I can manage to say at the eccentric sight. Yes, you. An idyllic, unlettered civilian. Perfect. A hint of a satisfied smile tugs at her lips. For what must be the 100th time today, I feel a keen sense of impending doom. Respond to my question with either yes or no. Do not deviate, do not invent, and for the sake of both our sanities, do not dawdle. First, am I correct in assuming you are an academy student? You must have the wrong person. I have never seen you before. How can you judge the purpose behind this encounter without knowing the criteria I have set in my approach? I am not mistaken. You are my target. Huh. It doesn't take a genius to sense that this girl means trouble. I decide to conveniently ignore her and step around her. She only steps with me, blocking my path again. Oh great, I can sense where this is going. As I envisioned, subject demonstrates a remarkable inability to utilize basic cognitive functions. Talk about uncalled for. Abusive words, overly complicated language. She clearly has a few screws loose. Maybe I should call the hospital, see if they can have a runaway mental patient. That's rude. But she's not wearing hospital clothes. Look, kid. I don't know what your problem is, but... Kid? The pleasantly cool air suddenly develops a rather harsh chill. Oh, she's insulted. She must be in one of those phases. Just another 14-year-old expecting to be treated with the dignity of a grandmother. Albeit a 14-year-old who apparently memorized the dictionary. Well, whatever you are, generally speaking, it's pretty rude to just run up to some random stranger and insult them. Truly, your idiocy has risen to a level beyond which I have previously surmised. She immediately digs into her pocket and flashes something in front of my face. Shigeru Enomoto, freelance detective. Oh. Legally certified to inspect crime scenes, obtain private files, and if necessary, interrogate unduly inquisitive citizens with the observational finesse of a blind bat. Huh. And you shall note that I am 26 years of age. Wait, what? You're 26? Unless you presume to imply that you are deaf as well as dumb, I suggest. But you're so short. I practically feel ice crystals forming in the air. Well, I should strongly prefer to be short of stature than short of cerebral matter, as seems to be your tendency. Ouch, not a bad blow. But wait, if you're a freelance detective, does that mean that this is an interrogation and I'm a suspect? If I have to go to the police station, do I get excused absence from class? Wow. I see no need to reverse your expectation that you will be taking the unexcused absence as they are. Consider an inevitability similar to your clinical depression. That stops me. What? How could you possibly? What would even make her think something like that? You might as well carry a sign. From your uniform, you are a student at the academy. From the fact that you are wearing it, you attended school this morning. From your presence in town rather than in class, you are, as I believe they call it, playing hooky. From that prescription slip, you are enrolled in the recently developed therapy method that the academy has been boasting. From your fairly normal physicality and social skills, your problem is most likely clinical depression or something like high-functioning autism. From... Okay, I get it. You're a detective. Wow. And you're impressed, but pretending not to be. It is pretty impressive. The observations themselves might seem like common sense, but a person who can actually synthesize them is a rare find. Which of course kind of just makes her even more annoying. I relax a little, oddly relieved that she hadn't actually secretly researched me. Yeah, that would have been creepy. Now it is your turn. My turn? Of course, what can you see from my physical presentation? I invite you to give your brain some much needed exercise. That gets close to firing me up. Close. Sorry, but I have my therapist's instructions to follow. Unless you have any actual business with me, I'd appreciate it if you left me alone. I step round her again. This time she doesn't move. But just as I think that I'm home free, I hear a soft whisper drifting from behind me. Do you not wish to play a bigger role in society than an inconsequential pawn in this game of life? Or will you restrict yourself to the confines of your own abilities just because of her? Quietly stop. I turn around slowly. Tell me what you know. Tell me. Oh, how you know that right now. I shall after you prove yourself mentally capable of comprehending the simplest of my explanations. Fine, she wants to play it that way. Let her play it that way. Time to focus. I'll start with. Oh. I don't know. I don't know, body language is important. She spreads her weight evenly on both feet, unlike most girls, who let it lie more on one side of their hip than the other. Even weight on both feet almost sounds like a formal posture? I don't know. Fighting. I'll say fighting. She seems relaxed, but with that bright-eyed look of someone expecting danger around every corner. That kind of weight distribution doesn't seem to come naturally. Maybe she was in sports or maybe in self-defense at one point for a while from the looks of it. I'd like to guess martial arts, but I can't say for sure. There are too many possibilities. Okay, then maybe I should think about this in a different way. Her movements are very crisp and close to the body. When she's speaking, she doesn't gesture very much, even when yelling. That's like the opposite of me. I like gesture with my hands a lot. Generally speaking, sports emphasize emoting on a huge scale. Roaring in victory, bawling in defeat, the works. Not only that, but limbs are trained more for gross motor skills than fine motor skills. On the contrary, Shigure has a very tight control over her hands, almost to the point where she seems stiff, which likely points to something high control like ballet or archery, or more subtle martial art like Wing Chun. Well, that didn't narrow things down too much. Time to move on. I noticed that when Shigure moves, she primarily tends to use horror. I don't even know. I didn't even pay attention to that. We'll say right hand. Her left hand is generally stagnant, while her right often takes the most action, adjusting her glasses or tapping against her hip. Probably safe to assume that she's right-handed. So she used to be involved in high control form of physical exercise, and she's right-handed. Is that all I can get from her body language? Well, she doesn't wear any noticeable makeup, she dresses like a kid, and she wears glasses instead of contacts, just calling more attention to her pathetic stature. Wow. Wait a minute. When I put it that way, it almost sounds like she has a mental disability. Wow. I don't think it's that one. And that's really mean. Wants to be underestimated. Even though she pretends to be indignant about being mistaken for a kid, it looks like that's her intent. Even though she's a freelance detective, she doesn't wear her badge anywhere, or carry a gun, or anything really. She probably believes that she's being underestimated is an invaluable skill. I can't say I personally agree, but hey, she's a 26-year-old freelance detective, not me. Let's just do circumstances. Why here, why now, why me? These are all questions I need to address. A detective's approached me and bombarded me with questions, but I see no other policeman. Is she doing this just because she's bored? No, she was specifically looking for an academy student for some reason. I'm coming up short in this area, I'll have to think about this later. Her clothes. Unlike the standard professional wear I might expect a law enforcement agent, she's dressed comfortably, probably can do that because she's a freelance detective. They also haven't been ironed in a while, which means either she doesn't care or she's a workaholic, possibly a combination of both. Her shirt proclaims king, conscious or unconscious association to her egotism. I can't tell much, but I find it strange that she's dressed so casually and expect people to take her seriously. With her height and her clothes, it is any wonder that she's often mistaken for a kid. And one more thing that bothers me, she's wearing comfortable looking clothes, which I previously assumed were for efficiency. After all, chasing down criminals in high heels is a stupid idea. And yet something stands out. Glasses and hoodie. Hat and jeans. I don't know. I'll say the glasses and hoodie. Wearing a hoodie is uncomfortable and so are glasses, right? No, actually, there's nothing wrong with that. It's odd about assuming that she's wearing those clothes for movability. Huh. I guess your choices don't really matter. Right, hats are a pain to run with. Because unless you keep one on hand... if you keep one hand on them at all times, they're likely to flop around, fall off, or just generally be obnoxious. And the jeans are too tight to opt for flexibility. Running in those would either be very uncomfortable or very, very embarrassing. Which implies that she just dresses how she wants to. Definitely a very headstrong individual. If she doesn't choose casual clothes for comfort, knowing that it can interfere with her job, then is she purposely choosing it to aggravate others to announce her individualism? I would match with her choosing to be a freelance detective instead of a corporate investigator. Free-spirited, rebellious, and as I suspect from how she's shamelessly pulling me aside for no reason, guided more by her heart than her head despite her intellect. Not bad. Next I should think about... Take a step back to look at the full picture. No, this isn't it. Not quite. Good information, but it's basic. Nothing stands out. I can't actually use any of this. Time to think a little deeper. Is there anything that can help me? Anything at all? Something I've missed? Huh. Well, we went through all the things. And Emoto speaking, yes? If you cannot resolve such an appalling simple task by your own means, I shall consider your intellect no different than that of a headless chicken's. Good day. Oh. Now you may want to hasten your efforts before the group upon which we stand— oh, ground, not group— upon which we stand becomes our gravestones. Yeah, I'm on it. I say this distractedly, primarily because I noticed she has a flip phone, an ancient technology by today's standards. Buttons, 2-inch screen, primitive camera, the works. Not just that, but it's a terrible looking flip phone, the kind of decor that you see on a prepubescent phone. Rhinestones, heart stickers, even the random scrawl from a Sharpie that was too faded into the metal for me to read. It's completely unlike her, which means that it's a wealth of information. While on call, she so graciously turned the phone in my direction, allowing me to catch a glance of her wallpaper. Shock, it was a picture, at least a few years old, of a guy hugging her. Double shock, she was proudly showing off her ring. Huh. Well, I'm gonna have to stop streaming soon. I was hoping I'd get more into the story, but I'm gonna stream for a little longer, then I gotta stop. Not a cheap, cutesy colored ring like the couple bands of a new relationship in its second week, a legitimate diamond ring. An engagement ring. But she's not wearing the ring anymore. Even looking at her hands at this moment, I can't even tell that she's ever worn one. Or she'd ever worn one. Which means that she'd once had a fiance and he broke up with her, and he did it recently, a long time ago. Well, maybe a long time ago because the picture's old and because there's no thing on, her hand. I'll just say a long time ago. Of course. If the engagement had ended recently, I'd see a tan on her finger. Or maybe an incident. Well, I have to leave, so have a great rest of your— oh, okay. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great rest of your day, too. I have to end the stream anyway soon. Instead, there's nothing, which means that the fiancé called off the engagement a while ago. She obviously didn't call it off, not if she's keeping that photo on her phone. In fact, maybe they broke it off amicably if she hasn't deleted it yet. Either that, or she's a stalker, or he died. Alright, that's much more like it. I think I'm ready. I square my shoulders and look her in the eye. Sorry about the wedding. Hello? What wedding? Is she serious? How can I possibly word this delicately? Yours, the one that your fiancé called off a few years ago. Did he? Didn't he? Unless she does have a wedding ring and she just doesn't wear it. Is it in your pocket or something? You might seek to articulate yourself better. Is what in my pocket? Your wedding ring. Why would I have a wedding ring in my pocket? If your fiancé didn't call off the wedding, then— wait. No. There's one more possibility, and since she's in law enforcement, it wouldn't be unlikely. I immediately shut up at the realization dawns on me. I see, you have realized. Yes, he never called off the wedding, because he died. I suddenly feel very, 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 very callous. I'm silence. Say nothing that you do not mean. Unless you are manipulating others to extract information, as that is an occupational hazard. Right. Even as she continues on, I mentally hit myself for my error. I shall admit, civilian, that you have done adequately. Train your senses consistently, and you might become moderately useful in the future. Thanks, really, I'm overwhelmed. But I ask of you this: what is the meaning when a freelance detective approaches a student and asks a string of seemingly unrelated questions of him? She suspects him of crime. She's testing him. Not if she has a crush on him. I don't know. She's testing him. You're testing my intelligence for some reason? Or you're actually a marketing intern trying to conduct some bizarre survey. I wouldn't know. Shigeru fixes me with an unfathomable stare. The only sign of emotion on her face are her eyebrows, which are almost raised to her hairline. What is your name? Sorry? Your name. This has nothing to do with the case, but if I protest, she'll probably smack me with more verbal abuse. Yama Ishimoto. What is she thinking of? Her derision is preferable to her silence. I postulate that you possess anonymity of free time. What is your assessment regarding a coagulant mater? Who even uses those kinds of words? Are you asking me to be your assistant? Servant, not assistant. Putting me and job in the same sentence is never a good idea. I barely have enough diligence to hand out stuff in class when I'm called by the teacher. How much worse would my punishment be if I worked with a woman, this crazy, not detention, I'd assume. And yet, examining pieces of a puzzle, putting them together, framing the whole story, it was fun. Logic, ingenuity, resourcefulness. And almost nothing is fun to me, which makes it doubly interesting. Sure, why not? Good, I will require your contact information, then be off. I take a moment to process this. That's it? Wait. How do you know? Know what? You told me earlier about her. A tense moment ticks by as Shigeru stares evenly at me. Pure conjecture. You can't be serious. You did not appear to notice that my wording was intentionally vague. What? But you said... Do you not wish to play a bigger role in society than an inconsequential pawn in this game of life? Or will you restrict yourself to the confines of your own abilities just because of her? Oh, classic bait for confirming bias. Appeal to a person's general desire for significance. Allude to just one person for some added resonance. All she would have to guess is a gender. 50% chance of striking a chord in her victim. She probably guessed a girl from my personality. I'm not exactly the type to easily befriend guys. A bait. Just a bait. I see you understand. She pushes the phone into my motionless hand. I have registered my cellular number. Tomorrow you will receive a text regarding your next assignment. Keep your evenings free. With that, she simply tips her hat, whirls around, and strides off. A bait? Was it really just a bait? Or is that also a bait, a lie to make me feel better, even though she actually knows? Huh. Too many mind games. Clearly I'm not cut out for this. Wait, what did I just accept? Was she serious? Am I actually her errand boy? What did I just get myself into? Did you seriously follow me home? Huh? Why would we do that? We already know where you live, man. Huh. Oh hey, I know those voices. Thankfully it's not Shigeru at the door, it's Masato and Yahiko, who are currently the proud bearers of 2 giant plastic bags stamped with the GFC logo. Huh, I wasn't expecting them. Well, I'm gonna stop playing right now. And I don't know when I'll be able to stream next. Maybe Sunday or Monday. I don't think I'll stream again today. But I do want to get into more of this game and get into, like, you know, the more horror aspect. I understand it has to, like, build the story and, you know, give you some backstory of the people, and can't just go into mass murder right away. But yeah, we're getting there. Slowly but surely. I think I read a little bit into the game and it's like after a few days of school or something. But maybe I'll look into it more to see when. Because, yeah. Oh well, thanks for stopping by the stream. So have a great day. See ya.